Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning to you. Great to be back with you once again. Terry Hansen here on Travelin' with Terry. As you know, every morning I take off from my home and head to the office, and I get just a few minutes to spend with you, business owners, hustlers, connectors, and trailblazers, and share some tips and strategies to help you take your businesses to the next level. This morning, let's spend a little time talking about, if you're in sales, how to get a hold of busy decision makers. So if you are in professional selling, or even if you're a customer service representative, then you know by sheer definition of your job description and your position that one of the greatest challenges when it comes to selling in business is getting in contact with the decision makers. Now, there's a couple of different people who are involved in the decision-making process. You typically have the primary decision maker, who is the one authorizing the money. They're the ones that sign the checks, sign the contracts, sign the agreements, etc. But then in addition to themselves, they typically rely on what we call decision influencers, or just various opinion leaders, other stakeholders in the organization. And typically these days, the final decision maker is not going to be interested in moving forward and signing an agreement or authorizing payment until most all of the decision influencers or opinion leaders or other stakeholders in the organization have bought off, signed on, and they agree to the action. And so, but it really is imperative that you and I, as sales professionals, that we at some point in time involve the decision maker. It doesn't necessarily happen to have it on the front end. Ideally, that it would be the case. It's okay if that happened on the back end, but at some point in time, we've got to get in touch with the decision maker. But early on in the sales prospecting process, sometimes one of the hardest parts is just getting a hold of anybody. And on a training that I was conducting with one of our clients at Arcane Marketing earlier this week on Monday, we were talking we were talking about this very bottleneck and this very challenge, and I shared a couple of strategies that I thought I'd share with you guys. And again, if you're in professional selling, I hope these three tips and these three strategies will help make a difference in helping you get a hold of your busy decision makers. So tip number one has to do with your method of contacting them. Because people these days are busy and they are pretty overwhelmed with things going on in their work, sometimes their attention is very, very fractured. And so if you and I are going to do a good job as sales professionals getting in touch with busy decision makers, then we've got to make sure to contact them and communicate with them on channels where their attention is. Now let's review the six. If you're a local business, let's just pretend for a minute that you're a local business. Let's review the 6 common ways to communicate with anybody, frankly. The first is via phone. You call them and you talk to them over the phone. The second is text message. The third is email. The fourth is social media messenger. The fifth is sending them something in the mail. I know that's old school, but mailing them something, that still works. And number 6 is you go visit them face to face. Now, one of the mistakes that sales professionals make is they will send an email and wait for a response and not take any other action. Or they will call and leave a message and then wait for a response and not take any other action. It is imperative as sales professionals that you and I not be one-trick ponies when it comes to getting a hold of the important decision makers and the prospects that we are trying to get a hold of. We can't do one thing and then just wait. That's not good enough. That's not good enough. Why is it not good enough? Because we know that some decision makers, they don't check their voicemails. Some don't even check their emails, but they're all over LinkedIn and social media, and they check their Facebook messages. So they are all over their text messages, and they're all over their mail. We just don't know where their attention is. And so we have to employ at least bare bone minimum 3 out of the 6 methods. 3 out of the 6 methods. Again, to review those, we've got the phone, we've got text, we've got email, we've got snail mail, we've got social media messenger, and we've got visiting face-to-face in person. So if you're in sales and you're frustrated that you're not able to communicate or get in touch with the busy executives that you're trying to get to, and you're only doing 1 out of those 6 things, then it's time to step up your game. You're just not doing enough. You've got to diversify. You've got to do more than that. And one tactic to think about as it relates to this one strategy is cross-promote your communications. So send an email to your decision maker, to your prospect, right? And then call and leave them a message and say something like, "Hey John, Terry Hansen here with Arcane Marketing. Listen, I emailed you yesterday and I asked you a pretty important question that I needed your help with. Do me a favor today, just hit reply onto that and let me know. Thanks, take care, bye-bye." Do you see how I'm using voicemail? I'm using voicemail to cross-promote the other communication area that I did. You can do the same thing with text message. You can do the same thing with social media messenger. Send them a LinkedIn message and say, "Hey Kevin, I left a message for you via voice message the other day. Did you get that?" ? And that's all you put in the social media messenger. So again, use multiple forms of communication to get to them. Okay, so that's tip number 1. I think we beat that hard enough there. Don't want to beat that dead horse. So that's number 1, is diversify your communication methods. Number 2 is one of the most common ways to communicate with decision makers, obviously, is via phone. And obviously, most of the time, you're going to run into their voice message. And most of the time, you're going to be leaving a message from them. And so that's all great and dandy. But the problem is when you leave a voice message, the problem is that most of the time, they're not returning your phone call. Why? Because you typically are sounding like a salesperson. And nobody in the history of ever returned a phone call from a perfect stranger, especially someone that they knew was trying to sell them something. That doesn't happen anymore. So when your voicemail sounds salesy and it sounds like you're a salesperson, I promise you, they're never ever going to call you back. So the call to action this morning is when you're trying to get a hold of a decision maker and you decide to leave a message for them, never ever sound like a salesperson. Never ever make a sales pitch inside of a voicemail. That's a one-way ticket to wasting your time and guarantee that they're not calling you back. So leaving a voice message is great. It is great. And it does work, but you've just got to change how you leave a voice message. You got to change up what you do and kind of how you do it. So think about this. A couple of tips and tactics for leaving voicemails that may help you actually get a phone call back. Okay. So here's some strategies to think about. Leave as little information as humanly possible in your voice messages. Don't get detailed. Be very cloudy, be very nebulous, be very unclear about what the purpose of your call is. Another tactic is make sure you share with them a specific time that they can reach you when you're available for a return phone call. Let them know that, another tactic is let them know that you've been trying to get a hold of them and you haven't been able to reach them successfully. Okay? So the voicemail might sound something like this, and use your own words. This is not a script, but just, put your own words, but it might sound something like this. So I call in, it rings several times, I get John's voicemail, and I say something like this. John, hi, Terry Hansen here. Listen, I've been trying to get a hold of you and haven't had any luck. It is really important that I reach out to you. I've got some important questions for you. I'll be in the office today from 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock, kind of at the end of the day. My direct line is 208-696-0985. Again, 208-696-0589. If you can return my phone call, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you. Click. Now notice on that voicemail, notice what I didn't say. I didn't mention the name of my company. I didn't mention the topic of what I wanted to talk about. And I didn't mention a whole bunch of, I didn't sound like a salesperson at all. Now, that type of voicemail is going to do something to their brain. It's going to leave them curious. It's going to leave them a little confused. they're not exactly sure maybe who I am or what I'm talking about or what I'm calling about. It sounds pretty urgent. I'm making them feel a little guilty that I've been trying to reach them, but I haven't had any success. And as a consequence, they're kind of feeling bad about that. And so they kind of got this psychological itch that needs to be scratched. And the only way that mental, that cognitive dissonance, that imbalance, that mental itch that they have can be scratched is by calling me back. So it's really imperative that if you're going to leave a voice message for your decision makers to try to get a hold of them, that you not sound salesy, that you not go overboard and make a sales pitch on their, in their voice message. When they hear all that stuff, they judge you and they pre-screen you and they already decide, I'm not calling them back, I'm not interested, etc. So can't let that happen. Do your selling in person and leave that to other. Okay, so that's tactic number 2 in terms of getting a hold of busy decision makers. And tactic number 3 is leverage the gatekeeper, leverage the administrative assistant, leverage the secretary, leverage the front desk person. When you call in and you ask, hey, Terry Hansen here, I'm looking for John. Is he in the office today? And she says, no, he's in a meeting. Can I send you to the voicemail? Keep going, keep digging, keep diving. Don't give up and say sure and feel relieved that you don't have to talk to anybody. Ask questions like, oh, interesting. Did he just get into that meeting or has he been in there a while? How long has he been in the meeting? Do you have his calendar handy? Is he in back-to-back meetings today? Does he have some time to chat after this meeting? Ask if you leave him would it be appropriate to slip him a note in your during the meeting? So get curious and ask additional questions. If he's tied up and he's on the phone, for example, or if the receptionist or secretary says, I'm sorry, John's not available right now, can I send you to his voicemail? Again, get curious. Ask, oh, okay, sounds good. Is he in a meeting or just on the phone? Or is there, can you put me on hold for a minute or two and we'll see if he hops off and then you can transfer me in? Stay persistent. Stay in the saddle. Don't get bucked off. Stay persistent. And let the administrative assistant help you get in contact with them. So anyway, those are 3 tactics that you can use as sales professionals to get a hold of busy executives, busy prospects, busy decision makers that you need to move things forward. So I know sales is difficult and challenging, and is usually when you can get a hold of people and get their audience, get their ear, that you can do a good job. But one of the major roadblocks is obviously just having a conversation with them, for crying out loud. But stay persistent. Use these 3 techniques that will help you get a hold of these busy decision makers. So anyway, great to be with you guys. Good morning, Rod. Good morning, Flavio. Good morning, Allison. Great to be with you guys. Thanks for joining this morning. And listen, if you guys got some extra tips and tactics for connecting with busy executives, busy decision makers, post them down here in this feed. Let's throw together a bunch of ideas and help everybody on our community here. So great to be with you. Thanks for following Arcane Marketing. And listen, if you want some training and coaching and mentoring on how to take your sales game to the next level, and if you feel like that would benefit you, then reach out to Arcane Marketing. We've got our weekly coaching workshops and our that are happening every single week. We've got our RiseX community where you get 24/7 access to self-study courses and trainings, workbooks, videos, all that sort of thing. There's no reason for you to be hustling and struggling alone. We've got a community here that can help you and support you. We want you with us. So reach out to us anytime. We're happy to help and support you in your business. So anyway, keep up the good work. Happy Wednesday. Love you guys. Work hard. Keep hustling. We're cheering for you. And we'll be in touch soon, right back here on Traveling with Terry. See you soon. Bye-bye. Hey, thanks for watching. Did you know every company out there has what we call digital marketing blind spots? These are simple, hidden opportunities for growing and improving your marketing that most of the time people miss. Go to www.arcanemarketing.com and take advantage of our Rise and Ignite digital marketing analysis. It's 100% free to get fresh new insights and ideas to make what you're already doing that much better in 2021.